Collecting the first reward. Alex awoke early the next morning to find that Minna was still sleeping in his arms. The girl clung to him like a little lamprey with a loving smile on her pretty face. Which, while adorable, made it extremely difficult for Alex to escape from the scene of his crime without alerting anyone else about his little dalliance. Ultimately, he was forced to pry himself out of Minna's arms, which she instinctively resisted. However, once he was free, he left the room and shut the door behind him. Where Minna rose from under her covers to reveal that she was awake the entire time. She then took a look at her phone to see what time it was, only to find out that Alex had sent a particularly rude message to her boyfriend the night before. This caused the innocent little schoolgirl to blush in embarrassment, as she looked towards the door where her oppa had just left before muttering her thoughts aloud. Meanie. As for Alex, he quickly returned to his room, where, much to his surprise, he found the Queen of Hearts waiting for him. She was dressed in a bunny girl outfit, while spinning a large prize wheel in a deliberately slow and depressing manner. The woman instantly noticed Alex's entrance, where she pouted before speaking her thoughts. "You're late." Alex simply shrugged while he responded to this criticism before climbing into his own bed. "Can you honestly blame me?" With this said, the Queen shifted her thoughts to something more important. Where a message overlay immediately appeared in Alex's vision. "Congratulations on your first conquest. Rewards are available, claim. YN." Alex had actually forgotten that he would receive a reward with each heroine he conquered, and thus he smirked before nodding his head while addressing the Queen of Hearts. "Sure. Let's do this. I can't wait to see what I have won." The Queen's mood immediately shifted from pouting to excitement as she stood up and gave the massive prize wheel a good twirl. She then began to cheer, almost as if she were a cheerleader, while doing a little dance. Round and round the wheel goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. The wheel spun for some time, and though it was so large as to contain a myriad of prizes, Alex could make out a few of them, being large cash settlements, expensive supercars, and luxurious properties. In the end, the wheel landed on something which Alex found just to his liking. Where the Queen of Hearts proclaimed his prize aloud. "Congratulations. You have won a brand new Kawasaki Ninja H2R." Alex was stunned by this news. In his past life, he had a collection of motorcycles, but had never purchased the Ninja because it was, in fact, a racing bike, and was not street legal. However, he suddenly felt as if he no longer had the need to follow traffic laws, and thus he smiled, before asking the immediate question on his mind. "Great. When can I pick it up?" The Queen of Hearts smirked before informing Alex where his prize was waiting for him. "It is currently parked at your university, where you can retrieve it after today's classes. As for the keys, they are in your hoodie's pockets. This should be a much more stylish way to travel with your girls while you are going on dates." Alex had to agree with the Queen's words. The car he had picked Minna up in yesterday was not the least bit sexy. But this bike was among the fastest in the world and had a slick black and green paint job. He could not wait to give it a spin. Alex would spend the rest of the morning getting ready for classes. Although he interacted with Minna again, the two of them pretended like nothing had happened the night before. The only difference between them was that Minna suddenly seemed much closer with her oppa and was a little bit more confident around him. After having a nice breakfast with his family, where Alex proceeded to flirt with his stepmother and little stepsister, Chae-young gave Alex a ride to campus again, where he went through a particularly dull day of classes. But while Alex was enduring a day's worth of study, Minna was at her own school, where she spent the day deliberately avoiding her boyfriend. Though Ji-ho tried everything he could to speak with the girl, she did her best to either hide from him or spend time with her friends. This sudden avoidance, combined with the image he had seen the night before, had caused significant distress for the boy. Not only had Ji-ho scored poorly on today's exams, but even in PE, he just seemed completely out of it. He tried his best to walk Minna home, but she ignored him entirely, and instead was driven home by her mother. Once more, she was not willing to even say goodbye to her boyfriend. Thus, Ji-ho would have to enter soccer practice in a completely and utterly depressed state, where he would fail to score a single goal. Something which he was normally an ace at. If things continued like this, then the boy would lose any chance of becoming a professional player, like he always dreamed of. By now it was evening, and Minna stood outside her family's home, while dressed up more than usual. She had even gone so far as to make sure her makeup was flawless. After all, she had received a text from Alex earlier in the day, saying that he would be giving her a surprise when he returned from the gym. In fact, his exact message hinted that he had somehow gotten himself a new vehicle, so that he would not have to borrow one of the family's cars to take her out. The message also implied he planned to take her on a date. Which, though sudden, caused Min-A's affections to grow even more for her oppa. Interestingly enough, Soo-jin was also waiting outside the house for her boyfriend to take her out for the night. She was rather distressed that her little sister was seemingly dating their stepbrother and was no doubt waiting for him at this moment. Thus, Soo-jin tried to change the subject, especially when she received a text message from her boyfriend. "Babe. Not to brag, but I was kind of a bad boy. I bought a new bike, which isn't street legal." This text caused Soo-jin to squeal in excitement, as she boasted while showing the message to her little sister. "Look at that. Ji-min got himself a motorcycle. I can't wait to shove this in Alex's face." Min-ah, however, did not frown or recoil in shock. Instead, she showed her sister the message which Alex had sent her. This was shocking to Soo-jin, who immediately protested it. "He's full of shit. How could that bum actually afford a car? You just watch. I bet it is just a fucking bicycle." Yet, Min-ah had complete and utter confidence in Alex. They had not known each other long, nor had they been together for more than a night. But Min-ah's feelings towards Alex were at an all-time high, especially after the previous night. And thus, she was certain that whatever kind of vehicle Alex had bought, it was far more impressive than Ji-min's. Thus, she simply responded to her honey, with a broad smile on her pretty face. "We will see." Soon enough, Alex pulled up on his ninja while dressed in a leather jacket, without a shirt on underneath. The leather jacket matched the paint scheme of the bike. He also wore a pair of jeans, which secretly had protection built in, just like his jacket. Those were not the only protective items that he wore. In fact, both his boots and helmet were also designed for maximum protection. Where he had obtained these items, nobody knew. Soo-jin was shocked to see her deadbeat of a little stepbrother pull up in such style. However, Min-ah was dreadfully excited to see her oppa suddenly appear while looking so cool, and she quickly rushed forward to hug him. "Oppa. Is this bike yours? How did you get it?" Alex did not respond to this question. Instead, he quickly put a single finger up against Min-ah's juicy lips, while speaking with a confident tone in his voice. "Shish, it's a secret." He then winked at the girl, which caused her to blush once more. Min-ah trusted her oppa enough to know that he did not obtain this bike via any illegal methods, and thus she asked no further questions. Meanwhile, Soo-jin was frozen in disbelief. She could only stare at Alex as if he were a complete and total stranger before interrogating him. "Where the hell did you get a bike like that?" Alex simply shrugged before responding to Soo-jin's hostile tone with a non-answer. "You wouldn't believe me even if I told you." Although Soo-jin wanted to know the truth, she decided to let the matter go and instead crossed her arms with a smug smile on her pretty face before bragging about her boyfriend and his new hot ride. "Well, whatever. It's not like it matters, because any minute now, Ji-min will appear with a bike that blows yours out of the water." Min-ah began to pout at her honey's behavior and was about to comment on it, when Alex simply chuckled, before pulling out a pack of cigarettes where he leaned against his bike while taking a long drag. Once he had exhaled a large plume of smoke, he accepted his newness challenge. "Is that so? I'd love to see what this bike of his looks like." There was a conceited tone in Alex's voice. Specifically, because he knew motorcycles well, far more than an ignorant young woman like Soo-jin. There was perhaps one bike nicer than his, and it also was not street legal. There was simply no way that a twerp like Ji-min would dare to break such a law. Soon enough, Ji-min arrived, and when he did so, Alex simply dropped his cigarette to the floor in astonishment. As for Min-ah, she tried everything she could not to laugh, as she held her hands to her mouth. While Soo-jin had turned ghostly pale with a look of horror on her face. Why did these three react this way? Because Ji-min showed up on a huffy, while pedaling away with a dorky little helmet on his head. Soo-jin had so shamelessly bragged about her boyfriend's new motorcycle, without even being aware that when he said the word bike, he meant bicycle, and a huffy no less. The damn thing even had training wheels attached to it. Ji-min was shocked to see Alex standing in the driveway with Min-ah in his arms. And instantly frowned when he saw the man. Like a damn fool, he approached Soo-jin, who was absolutely mortified with his new, hot ride, and began to brag about his purchase. "Well, Soo-jin, what do you think? It's an import from America. It even has a seat on the back for you to sit on. Amazing, right?" Whether Jimin had simply overlooked Alex's new motorcycle, or he had simply not understood the significance behind it, he sat there on his little banana seat, with a wide grin on his nerdy-looking face. As for Alex, he scoffed in disbelief. It took everything in his power to not break out into a fit of laughter at his Nuna's expense. Thus, after taking a deep breath to control himself, he approached Jimin with a false smile and patted the man on the back sarcastically. "Oh man, that is truly the hottest ride I have ever seen. It fucking blows my bike out of the water, doesn't it, Nuna?" Jimin did not understand Alex's sarcasm, and instead wore a wide smile when he heard this compliment, as if he could take pride in the fact that he had finally one-upped this scoundrel. As for Soo-jin, she looked like she wanted to tear her boyfriend's head off. Noticing that his Nuna was on the brink of a hissy fit, Alex did not want to get caught up in the aftermath of her eruption. And thus he grabbed hold of Min-ah, where he sat her down on the back of his bike. He then placed the helmet that he was previously wearing on the girl's head. This was an act that caused Min-ah to feel even more close to her oppa, who was more concerned about her safety than his own. She instantly wrapped her arms around his back and pressed her body as close as she could to his so that she could feel his warmth. Alex then ignited the motorcycle's engine and said farewell to his Nuna. "Well, Nuna, Min-ah and I are going to the arcade. You two lovebirds enjoy yourselves and your new sweet ride." After saying this, the engine of the bike roared to life as Alex and Min-ah drove off, leaving Soo-jin absolutely speechless. Jimin took this silence for approval, causing him to wear a stupid grin on his dorky face before patting himself on his back. "Did you see how jealous that bastard was of my huffy?" This was the straw that broke the camel's back. Soo-jin began to vent all the anger and envy which she currently felt on Jimin as she screamed at him like a banshee. "Are you fucking retarded? Why in the hell would he be jealous of that stupid thing? I mean, did you not see his bike?" Jimin tilted his head in a lack of understanding. He could not for the life of him understand why Soo-jin was so angry, and could only come to the conclusion that Alex was to blame. While being completely unaware that his girl currently wanted nothing more in the world than to slap the shit out of him. Thank you for reading my novel. If you wish to read a more serious story with an intricate plot, and complex world building, as well as a decent-sized harem, and a few smut chapters, please check out my two other novels, Tyranny of Steel, and Interstellar Age.